Hi everyone, it's Sue. Welcome back. I hope you're all doing really well. So today I'm here as I am taking part in a collaboration of sorts, which is all about sharing my experience of when and how I started out in making junk journals. And hopefully I can give you some useful tips and advice, especially if you're new to this amazing and exciting community. The collaboration has been set up and been put together by Mandy from Sunflowers and Doors and Justine from House of Mahalo. Mandy and Justine, they also have a Facebook group called Junk Journal Ideas and Inspiration. So I'll put a link down in the description so you can follow their page. If you'd like to get loads of inspiration from these lovely ladies, you'll find it there. So, and also in this collaboration, there's lots of other amazing junk journal creators joining in. So be sure to follow along the playlist and see what advice and tips they can give you. So really well worth checking them all out. There's been so much great advice, so many amazing tips given so far. So some of what I'm going to share with you today has already been touched on, but I'll give it to you coming from my perspective and how I've sort of come to where I am now in my junk journal journey. So Justine and Mandy have asked us to also tell a little bit of a story how we got into junk journaling. So I guess that's probably a good place to start. So I've just got this journal sitting here. I didn't want you to see my face. No, I'm not comfortable in front of the camera, so I'd rather show you my hands. But I just thought I'd put this little journal here in front, and this is my first ever junk journal that I ever created. So I'm just going to slowly flip through it as I'm talking, just so there's something for you to look at. This is made with cereal boxes and a no-sew binding. So this is my very first junk journal that I ever did. Okay, so just a little bit of an intro for those of you that don't know anything about me. My junk journal story began back in 2017. So I'd been going through, and I was still going through, quite an emotional and personal situation in my life, and I had lost any inspiration to do anything creative. I had even sold a lot of my supplies. So I used to do scrapbooking and card making and sewing for 30 odd years, but I don't know, I was just so low, I just thought I'm never going to create again. So I had a couple of garage sales and sold a lot of my supplies. And then one day, closer to the end of that same year, closer to the end of 2017, I tried to push myself to get out some paints. So I'd already kept some paints and some mixed media books, just cheap ones. And I thought I'm going to try and maybe just do a mixed media page. I hadn't ever really done much in the way of mixed media, but I just thought, well, maybe if I try it, it might pique my interest and I might start being creative again. So I've never really been a big social media person, and I really didn't even know much about YouTube. So I'm just hopeless in anything to do with technology, really. So I worked up the courage and I popped onto YouTube anyway and decided just to have a look and see what it was all about and what I could find. So I was sort of just looking around at, you know, like mixed media pages and that type of thing, and up popped a video mentioning something about a junk journal, and I'm pretty sure from memory it was Gaia Lagostinelli was the first video that I ever saw with regards to junk journaling. And I was intrigued. So from that video, I was lost for hours, days actually. I spent so many days, in every spare moment I got, I was on YouTube looking at this thing called junk journaling. So that was the end of me then. So fast forward to the end of 2017, and I was totally addicted. And I posted my first ever YouTube. Now, I'm not going to put the link down below for my first ever YouTube video because it's really cringeworthy. If you want to go and search for it and have a look, you can, but I'm not sharing it. So we'll have to start somewhere, right? Okay, so yeah, so I posted my first video and the rest is history, basically. So as I said, this is the first ever junk journal that I ever did, and I'm just going to flip through and just keep flipping just so that you're not looking at just my hands. Okay, so what advice would I give to a newcomer to this amazing junk journaling community? Let me think. So probably the first tip that I would say is, you know, in junk journaling, we all love using old book pages, that type of thing, in our journals or any of our handmade ephemera. Now in this one, I don't think I've used much at all. I've just used some scrapbooking paper and different papers that I've used, and I coffee dyed some bits and pieces. So but I got all intrigued by books and old books and book pages and that sort of thing. So one thing I would suggest is to not go out and buy all the books first up. When I first started, I was at the secondhand bookstores every week and buying something. And to be honest with you, most of those books have now been donated back because I just found as I went along, I wasn't using so many book pages. I didn't have the book pages that I liked. So give yourself a little bit of time to work out what you like. So maybe a good way to do that is to purchase some book page packs. So there's a lot of wonderful sellers on Etsy and some websites that sell this type of thing. And they're normally at a very affordable price. This way you can get a big variety of pages and work out from that what you like and what you dislike. And then once you've worked that out, maybe you can go and get the books that you like to use. So I found that I love vintage images, nature and botanical type images or books, and book pages that were written in other languages and different types of fonts. So that's pretty much when I go looking into a secondhand bookstore, that's what I look for now. So just let me say too, this is all just from my perspective. This is just what I find works for me or hasn't worked for me through my junk journal story. So another thing that I find that works for me is to rotate your supplies. So what I mean by that is have at arm's length, if you're able to, if you have your own space or if you have a corner of the room, have at arm's length the bits and pieces that you use all the time. Have them close by so that you can grab them. And then also another thing that I like to do is to swap out your supplies regularly. And I liken that to like a kid's toy box. You know, the kids get bored with the same toys all the time. So take the old toys out, put them in a cupboard and put some of the other toys in, and they think that they've got brand new toys. So we're pretty much the same. We're just big kids playing with paper. And it's a way of not overwhelming yourself. Now, I've got a lot of supplies that I've collected over the last 35 years. And I run a business. I've got my Paper Inspirations business, and it's all stemmed from junk journaling. So I have a lot of supplies, and I do a lot of times get very overwhelmed by them. So I find if I have everything close to hand, like I've got a heap of stamps, but I have a big basket, about this size, just to the side of me at all times, and I use them, and every month or so I rotate them. So I've got something new. Same with my die cuts, my dies, my metal dies. I have a little trolley beside me, and I have a certain amount of embossing folders and metal dies in there, and I use those, and every month or so I will rotate them out and get something different. So of course I will always have my favorites that I just always keep, but yeah, for the most part I try and change them out a bit. Okay, so another thing that is a real weakness of mine is ink pads, stamp pads, whatever you call them. And I'm just going to show you something here in a minute. Honestly, for the most part, I use around about 6 different colors. So I use, these are just some of my favorites that I use. So I've got frayed burlap, vintage photo, which is just a standard. I think most people would have something similar to that, and walnut stain. So they're in the distress oxides and distress inks. So I use them all the time. And I like to use archival inks for stamping. So I've just grabbed a couple that I've got. I've got like a green that I like to use, fern green, black, a grey, another brown one. I use vintage photo, and I also love a blue and a red. I just don't have them close by here at the moment. So that's pretty much, give or take a couple, what I use constantly all the time. So, you know, start with a couple of basic colors. If you're like me and you want to have all the colors, so these are just some of my distress inks and my distress oxides. I store these in a drawer. So this is just some of them, and I have more. And I also have the same for archival inks. I have so many, a multitude, absolute multitude of colors. And you know what? I very rarely use them. I can't get rid of them because I might just need them one day. Now there's a lot of money tied up in that, but it's something that I love, and I only buy them when I can afford them. But another thing that I thought might be good, if you do need to, or you feel like you want to have that choice of having a lot of different colors, is why not try the minis? Now I've got some of the minis in the distress inks as well, and you can get these little containers. You don't have to have these containers, but it just keeps them all nice and neat. So if you want to have more than one or two colors, why not try the little inks? Because they take up less space on your desk, and they're more affordable than buying, you know, you can get a set of four, so you can get 4 colors for a bit more than the price of 1 color in a bigger one. So that's just something to think about. And another thing with regards to having just the minis on your pad, honestly, if you get addicted to this craft and you're like the majority of us, you will learn to start working on mountains or in really small spaces, because you end up with so much stuff all over your desk. It's so much fun, but I've never known me to be able to work in such a small area of space before until I started this craft. So this would be probably a really good option as well, so they don't take up as much space. So that's just another pointer. Another pointer, I guess, is use up, when you're first starting out, maybe use up, if you've got scrapbooking papers from your scrapbooking days, you know, you can utilize all these. This is scrapbooking paper. This is scrapbooking paper. You can utilize all those in your journals. This is scrapbooking paper. You know, these are scrapbooking papers that I've cut. I've cut the big sheets down and cut pieces out of them. So use that sort of thing. If you want to make tags or journaling cards, use manila folders. You can get them for really quite cheap and inexpensive. And they come in a multitude of colors. Cut them down to your tag size or your card size. You could use cereal boxes, this is what I've used, a cereal box here. I've put two pieces, glued them together, and then covered them with scrapbooking paper. You can use them as bases for your tags and your journaling cards. It's just a way that then you can maybe put that money that you save not buying, you know, the pre-cut tags, that type of thing. You can maybe put that money towards a quality tool. I'm a big believer in, especially with tools, you get what you pay for. So if you spend a little bit more money on something that's robust, good quality, you're going to have it for years to come. And for example, one of those things which is, you know, it's a little bit on the higher side, is this cutter from Tonic, Tim Holtz cutter. It has an arm that goes in here, extends out here. I absolutely love this tool, and it was quite pricey, but I purchased it about 3 years ago, and it hasn't skipped a beat, honestly, and it's perfection. Cuts beautifully. So that's just one one thing that I would say. If you can cut down the cost of things in other areas, put that money, if you can afford it, towards quality tools, because you'll have them for a long, long time to come. Another thing that I wish that I had have done from the beginning was to make 2 of every piece of ephemera, or well, every piece of ephemera that I liked, I suppose. You know, maybe let's take this for example, just a little matchbook. I wish I had made 2 of those and put them in a reference journal. So they're a really great source. Your reference journal is a really great source for those days you feel that you want to create, but you just have nothing. You can't think of anything. You don't know what to do. You know, like you can flick through your reference journal and pick out some ideas. And sometimes that's all you need to do is just start playing and ideas will start coming to you. So that's one big thing that I really regret not doing. I have since just this year started my own reference journal, and I love it. I've still got a lot to put in there. I haven't finished, but I want to make it like a journal in itself so that it's pretty to look at and flip through. So what I do with regards to ideas is I will just put it in. So I've just added that as a flip. That's just something that I made. This is something that Lynn from Pretty Paper Crafts 67 has made, and I've put the tag that she made as well and her details so that I know who made it. So if I do actually remake it, I can credit the artist that has done that. You know, you can put in here and put measurements and, you know, all that sort of thing. But it's just a really good source of inspiration. So I've got a long way to go. So as I said, I've been doing this since 2017. And if I had have started doing this back when I started, I would have many of these in my library. So I'm going to make a really concerted effort to keep one of these from now on. So that would be a really big hint that I would say definitely try and do. So we're nearing the end of what I wish I had have known back then, what I know now. And I think my last thing that I would like to probably say, and I think the most important piece of advice is to just have fun and embrace the imperfections. It's a junk journal after all. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Junk journaling has been the best thing for me because I'm a quilter and I like everything perfect, perfectly squared, perfectly measured. I can let that go in my junk journals and I still love the way that they turn out. So just have fun and don't ever let anyone dull your enthusiasm for the craft and what you're creating. We all have different ways of doing things and we all have different styles. So just love what you do and have fun. So on that note, I'm going to leave that with you, and I really do hope you enjoy your journey in this junk journal community. It is the best space, and there are so many supportive ladies and gents in this community that are happy to help you out, answer any questions. And I am also one of those people that I love getting emails with people asking questions, and I'm always happy to answer and help out where I can. So thank you so much to Mandy and Justine for asking me to join in this collaboration. It is a fantastic idea and I've been watching all the videos. I'm a little bit behind at the moment, but I'm trying to catch up. So good luck with your if you're just getting into junk journaling, and I really hope you enjoy the journey. I know a lot of people don't like that word journey, but I really do hope you embrace it and just, as I said, embrace the imperfections. They're perfectly imperfect. Take care, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, I hope you get a little bit of creative time in. See you soon. Bye-bye.